One of Jesus' closest friends refused to believe he was alive. And, honestly, you can't really blame him. Before we get into it, if stories like this speak to your heart, hit that subscribe button. There's more coming every week that might just change how you see things. Thomas had walked with Jesus for years. He had watched him heal the blind, calm storms with just his words, and bring the dead back to life. Thomas was not a weak man. He was not someone who gave up easily. But when the other disciples came running to him with the most unbelievable news in history, "We have seen the Lord. He is risen," something inside Thomas just stopped. Put yourself in his shoes for a moment. He had watched Jesus suffer. He had seen the hope of everything he believed in seem to disappear in one painful afternoon. His heart was broken. His world had fallen apart. And now his friends were telling him Jesus was alive? Thomas looked at them and said something that many of us have felt but were too afraid to say out loud. "Unless I see the nail marks in his hands and put my finger where the nails were, I will not believe." That was Thomas. Raw, honest, hurting. And for 8 long days, he sat with that doubt. 8 days of watching his friends walk around with joy he could not feel. 8 days of wanting to believe, but not being able to. 8 days of silence from heaven. Have you ever been in that kind of waiting? Where everyone around you seems so sure of something you're still struggling to hold on to. Then one evening, the disciples were gathered together again, doors locked, just like before. And this time, Thomas was with them. Suddenly, without the door opening, without any warning at all, Jesus appeared in the room. The air must have changed. Hearts must have stopped for just a second. Jesus looked around the room, and then his eyes found Thomas. He didn't scold him. He didn't say, "How dare you doubt me?" He simply walked toward him and said, "Thomas, put your finger here. See my hands. Reach out your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe." Just like that. Jesus had heard every word Thomas said. He had seen every tear Thomas wiped in private. He knew exactly what Thomas needed, and he came back specifically to give it to him. That moment broke Thomas completely open. He felt his knees and said 8 powerful words, "My Lord and my God." Not just, "I believe you're alive." Not just, "Okay, I see you now." He said, "My Lord, my God." Personal. Surrendered. Completely. And then Jesus said something that reaches across time and speaks directly to you and me today. "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." That blessing, that is for you. You are not in that room. You cannot touch the scars. You have never seen Jesus walk through a locked door. But you are reading this story. Something inside you is stirring, and that matters more than you know. Here is what the story of Thomas teaches us. Doubt is not the opposite of faith. Silence is not the same as rejection. Sometimes God lets us sit in the questions because he is preparing a moment that will leave us completely undone in the best possible way. Thomas did not lose his place among the disciples because he struggled. He was not pushed to the side because he needed more than the others. Jesus came back for him, just for him, and he will do the same for you. If you're in your own 8 days right now, waiting, doubting, quietly hoping that something is real, hold on. Jesus is not afraid of your questions. He is not offended by your honesty. He knows exactly where you are, exactly what you need, and he has a way of showing up that will change everything. If this story moves something in you, share it with someone who might be in their own season of waiting. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on notifications, because every week we bring you stories just like this one that remind you that you are never alone in what you're going through. Thomas needed proof. Jesus gave it to him. And the faith that was born from that moment lasted the rest of his life. Your moment is coming too.